Hello everyone, I hope you are doing fine on this morning, evening, midday, whatever time it is for the people watching this. It'll be relatively in the day for these players, so I'm hoping they get to play well in this environment. We have a very fun match coming up, I believe. We have Ohio versus Wisconsin for the States Cup, and overall, I think this will be a really interesting match, especially on a map pool like this. I'm your commentator, 12-0, and hopefully to be joined by Chili Apart soon. Until then, I think it is fair to say this match is going to be going underway relatively soon. The players, I believe, are getting into the lobby. So it'll be interesting to see the kind of strategies these teams are going to, pair up with each other and go against with. Of course, for Team Ohio, we are going to be seeing Hydra, Brady Army, Peaceball, 87 Spectre, Sith, and Uma Shower. Inside of Wisconsin, we're going to be seeing This Is God, Autoburn, Board, Blabby, Ketoff, Potent Chill, and Thieving Flea. So pretty solid rosters all around. And I mean, you look at the ranks, you see some 5 digits in there, but I promise you those 5 digits are not 5 digit, or at least what you'd expect of a normal 5 digit. Those guys are some scary tournament players. I should also mention is Ohio seed 31 versus the Wisconsin seed 18. So on paper, this match would be going in favor of Wisconsin. However, when you're in a tournament scene like this, you can't make those kind of predictions. You can make map predictions, but you can't always be correct because sometimes teams just show up on the right day. And it'll be interesting to see which team is going to be showing up mostly on this match. I believe we are seeing the rolls being done. And we are seeing a roll of 24 from Hydra. Pretty cold moment there. That might be the high roll, you never know. Okay, it is New Wisconsin rolling a 91. You can't do much against a roll like that. That's a roll or 2. Hydra, you can't predict a roll from your opponent. It's just not how that works. Should mention around a small bit there, 2 minute delay, just letting players do something, I believe. Warm-ups slightly delayed, and it's okay. Right, there we go. The warm-ups are starting. Players are getting themselves already locked in. And I believe I've just seen a flashlight coming in from Hydra. Knowing how to spice up a warm-up every single time. Interesting choice. And I believe, yep, they are back with the Tap X method, which they have done with both warm-ups now they've played so far, with last week's match and now this one. Hydra just knows how to have fun, I think. And also, that's what you're gonna need. You can't go too seriously, otherwise, you know, to put yourself in a bad spot, maybe get yourself a bit nervous. If you're here to have fun, it's just going to be a fun time no matter what. Why is Hydra shaking so much though? I mean, I know that not used to playing Tap X, but this is crazy. Come on, Hydra. I believe in the flashlight play. I believe in it. Come on. It's only 10k difference. You got this. Oh. Hydra, you are indeed ghosted. I agree with this statement. I don't see many people running flashlight in warm-up, and I've got to respect it, you know. Absolute goated player right there. Truly player of the people. Alright, the first map warm-up coming towards an end. So this was Wisconsin's warm-up. I think they have taken it pretty well. I think Hydra's the most warmed up, though. You can't convince me otherwise. Someone running Flashlight, that's how you truly warm up. That reading ability, off the charts right now. And then Ohio's warm-up is this. Very interesting team. A team that's here to just have fun, I think. This is a team that is just here to have fun. Please tell me it's got something else to it? Or at least it's not like 4 minutes of this? Oh, okay. This actually might be worse than the other alternative then, of it being 2 seconds. Is actually... Oh, it might be worse. Custom warm-up for Ohio. I mean... You know what? It's at least it's a banger. You know what? It's a banger. Really, real interesting player from Ohio. Going for ranked. Yeah, I don't think you can rank a 2-second song. I'm gonna be so honest. The map might already be over. Oh, we're seeing some peak players coming out here. Seeing some multiple high mod count. Oh, and there we go. The warm-up over and done with. Okay, and there we go. Warm-up's complete. With a very interesting warm-up from Ohio, seeing a few SSs here. And you know what? I see more Ohio players on both sides of the screen, which means Ohio won the warm-up. That's good to see. They won their own warm-up, technically. That's what we love to see. Very interesting map. Very peak map, and I hope to see this in the ranked section, but that is now the warm-ups done and dusted. It's time for the players to get ready for the real match, get ready for some real map pools. I mean... I say that, like, this is just peak map. Like, you just can't surpass this. Let's be honest here. And now with the match slowly going underway, we're going to be seeing the options coming out. We're seeing, I believe, Wisconsin going for second ban as their main thing. And I'm now happy to say that I am joined by Chili Pair. How are we?
Oh, there we go. There's my intro. There it is.
I was honestly waiting for you.
My true American patriots. What is up? We missed a little old-fashioned US casting up in here. Thank you for taking it away for the warm-ups, Torma. Very exciting stuff.
Yep.
This was
thrilling maps.
This was a really riveting set of warm-ups on the side here on this 5th of July, post 250th birthday of America. What a weekend. And we've got 2 states fighting to stay in the tournament already. We've got our friends over in Ohio here, of course, birthplace of aviation, Ohio, Wright brothers inventing the airplane in Ohio, and of course everyone's favorite Wisconsin, America's dairyland, kicking it up on the right-hand side as the 18th seed in this matchup here. Higher seeded team, Wisconsin, in this matchup. Ohio, a state that we have not seen for 2 years now. 2024 and 2025, Ohio did not make an appearance, which was a stark contrast to their history in the United States Cup, given the fact that they were a pretty consistent top 3 to 4 performing team. 2023, however, led to a bit of a drop-off, continued as they lost players there into the 2024 no-show from them. Wisconsin, their best placement ever is 17th to 24th. So this round of 16 weekend here is the #1 spot for Wisconsin. They do need to win one more match in order to have their best placement of all time, but this will at least tie that should they take the win here. We are up in First sets of picks and bans to come out from the two sides here. Both strong teams across the board on the mechanics. There's not a whole lot of gimmick riding on either side here, so I imagine we're going to be getting rid of some of that hidden pool as a start here. Not too much gimmick showing up in the no mod pool this time around. We're pretty comfortable. No mod 3 just with that rate increase on the rhythm change there, and then of course the free mod to your classic anti-mod free mod. And it is a free mod 3 to be the first ban out from Wisconsin. It is going to be top 40 core, taking a little bit of a break from that break core, sort of mid BPM, tapping 246, avoiding the mods.
Yeah, not wanting to go into those mods, and speaking of, we did see the earlier ban from Ohio as well, getting rid of the Hard Rock one, just not opting into the Hard Rocks this time around. They looked really confident on it last week against Virginia, but this time around, maybe not so comfortable with the maps in play. But, I mean, as mentioned, right, we're fully expecting these teams to go full in on the mechanics kind of maps, but I feel like they should be relatively balanced out. I mean, you know, this being the losers bracket, they both had lost their previous matchups, but both were, I believe, you know, pretty unfortunate with who they got matched up with. I'm not entirely sure who Wisconsin were against the first week, but I do know that Ohio had to go against Virginia, a very strong team in this tournament. But, yeah, you know, they had a showing there. They had a showing. So maybe, you know, they might be a bit better than the initial seeding gives them credit for, but we are going to be seeing that first pick, and I believe that is going to be the Hard Rock 2 coming out for Wisconsin.
Yeah. Wisconsin had an equally difficult opponent in week number 1. Pennsylvania, very, very strong top-end roster, especially for that consistency early stage, and their seeding of 15th overall precedes them as being completely inaccurate because Pennsylvania is easily a top 8 level team when it comes to their overall performances. They have looked pretty good the past couple of years. Their best placement ever actually coming through in 2024. 2025, just a little bit shy of that, one match down from last year, looking to try and bring themselves back up all over the place. And as we roll into pick number 1 here on Hard Rock 2, called out by Tigo there, it'll be Wisconsin to take on the Precision for map number 1. This is classic low BPM control. There is one very, very spaced, and that is an understatement, stream circle at the starting of the map. Everything else is fairly flow aim focused. There's a little bit of aim, but it's nothing crazy. There's no sharp angles. There's no awkward patterning in here. It is very simple as the layout. So if you're looking for just straight precision, as purist as you can possibly get, well, this is going to be the map for you. And Wisconsin, given their strength across the board on the Hard Rock skill set, this is going to be a way for them to open up the match in no way contention, given the scores we've seen, especially from last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just kind of break this down into a more simple way of putting it. Yeah, it is just your basic precision map. Nothing too crazy for it, but it is now depending on the players and their comfort on this low precision. As mentioned, right, Wisconsin are going to be comfortable on it. You know, something they are very used to playing. Almost their bread and butter is the best way to put it. But, you know, the question is, can Ohio try to compete against it? That's the hope for that side. But early in, we did see the very early miss coming from Poncho, but they just get traded. Quite a few misses just early in, but again, traded back and forth. And it's just going to be seeing who can build those longer combos midway through. And so far, I believe there's actually only one remaining combo on the board, being Sith, the only person to really get through the intro, and Spectre with an early break.
Yeah, this is actually the first Hard Rock map played by either of these two teams in the entire tournament. Ohio, Wisconsin both avoiding the Hard Rock pool last week. I have yet to see if they banned out either of the maps. But it is a confident start for Ohio on these top 2 between Sith and Spectre here. They're getting matched up by Potential. And this is God, and there's the break from Spectre to let this score sort of slip away a bit. Potential does find a break, though. And it now all the way back to Tigo holding the combo alongside Audubon. It is Spectre and Rice Shower to find some extra breaks here. Sith, the only one to hold up. And that next break after this stream section could be the point of no return for these two teams. The accuracy looking rough for Tigo right now, 91%. Audubon finds a break along with Potential, but it's Sith to find the miss with Rice Shower. Spectre is down 2, and it's all on Tigo, but he finds the break as well. And Ohio on the accuracy is going to be to take it. It's 92% across the board from Wisconsin. Ohio just absolutely trashing this on AC alone, and that really is the key on precision and how comfortable you are.
Yeah, I mean, with a map like this, you know, you're not going to be too completely, you know, worried on the aim side of things. The aim is relatively calm, and, you having accuracy is just doing so much work for the side of Ohio. And, when it came to that combo game, they were pretty much matched both sides. And even when Ohio started falling short on that combo, having that accuracy backup just does wonders for you. And coming towards the closure of the map, it's about 100k score difference. Tigo is, building those combos back up, about the 140 combo mark, but there's just no accuracy to boot with it. And on average, I mean, it is just going to be a complete one-sided moment here from Ohio, just on that accuracy game alone and the combos to match. 116k score difference, 112k score difference, and a breakpoint to start this match off immediately with, and a comfortable Hard Rock 2 point on the board for Ohio.
That's a strong one for them, and unfortunately for both sides, fairly low team scores on the weekend. Even Tigo, they're lower by about 100k under the lowest score from the Carolina-Georgia match that took place earlier this weekend. So a bit of a rough go when it comes to the precision for these two teams. Ohio going to be feeling pretty good about their performance on that, and especially their chances going into the remainder of this match. If they are the team that is going to have a better time on these skill cap related picks here, it is absolutely going to turn around how this match was originally looking in terms of a prognosis here. Ohio now on their own pick going to have to try and keep it in, and it is going to be the double time 2. Little bit of finger control on this DT2. This is your classic sort of speed stamina DT2. There's nothing, really else to say about it, but it does have some interesting off rhythms is the only way I would sort of describe it, that are, not perfectly quantized. And I think that's what's going to make things a little bit more difficult for all players in this lobby. If Ohio has practiced up, I think they should have a very good chance of stealing away and consolidating that break point.
Yeah, I will say I am aware that Ohio have got practice on this. I was talking to Cheeseball just beforehand, and I have seen that they can drop 900k on this, but doing that in match will be a different story. The consistency required will be a bit higher to try and get that back-to-back, but I think it's also be a question for Wisconsin as well, is are they comfortable enough on a map set like this? Are they comfortable on this kind of tapping with a bit of awkwardness to it? I mean, that's the question you've got to look for here, because, they're now looking to try and get that breakpoint back. They lost their Hard Rock 2, they lost that opening pick. It doesn't look good from them from the get-go, but they are going to try and fight for it, and can they compete for it is honestly what we're just going to be looking for here.
Well, Wisconsin's a semi-decent DT team. It certainly is not the number one strength that I would pick out for them. I think while they can hold their own on some of these early stage double-time picks, they traditionally have sat towards the bottom of the DT leaderboards overall. Their roster is strong in some areas, but speed has really never been Wisconsin's thing, to be perfectly honest. Like, even back to the inception of Wisconsin in the United States Cup, and the first time that they ever played this tournament, which was in 2018, they've generally been that Hard Rock favored precision aim style team. We haven't seen a lot of speed from them, so it would be an absolute treat to see if they were able to pick up some speed over the years in here. But based on that round of 32 performance and this DT pool being relatively similar in lineup, I don't know how much we're expecting, especially on an Ohio pick here, as they look to lead on these three combos, with a break coming out very early from Audubon and some big act drops from Thieving Fleet.
Yeah, we'll see Tigo and expect to find those drops. So, there's only, again, Thieving Fleet to be the only remaining combo on the side of Wisconsin. If you look at the other side of Ohio, there's still those two full combos on the board, and with Thieving Fleet finding that break as well just before the first half of the map, that score difference is going to continue to accelerate in favor of Ohio. They're looking a lot more comfortable on this. Both over 600 combo, and the accuracy from Cheeseball right now, just seeing a 98%, does unfortunately find a bit of a break there, but they're not in the danger zone by any means. It's still 400k score difference between them, and even with Arban, starting to build those combos, getting to the 400 combo mark, Boomer Rush Hour is still full comboing with 97% accuracy. They're in such a safe position at this current moment.
Yeah, and this is 800,000 score with the third of the map to go. This map is not short, but there is certainly not enough room to be found on this DT2 at 1 minute and 43 seconds that there is a comeback able to be made here, and well over 1 million score now for Ohio. No combos existing on Wisconsin. There's nothing to pull this back. There's nothing really left at the ending here to break on to. If Rice Shower has made it through those early streams, they are not going to struggle in this ending here. And those final spinners and sliders come out here in Ohio with the 2-0 consolidated breakpoint. 2.4 million team score, nothing to shy away from. It's the first time we've seen this map this weekend, so considering the fact that we have all of these maps and matches lined up towards the ending here. I believe between 1 and 2 UTC today, we have something to the tune of 7 matches, if not more, coming up this evening. Let's see, between now and midnight, there is approximately 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matches after 11 matches after, or no, 10, yes, 10 matches for the rest of the evening tonight. So a significant amount of the round of 16 taking place. This is just match number 2 of all that.
Yeah, got a lot of matches to come up for you, but with this one currently in motion, I mean, with IDT2, just a very, very solid performance coming in from Ohio. And also to be mentioned is that, you know, with Ohio there, even Rush Hour 1v3, that is confidence on speed tapping that you just, you know, you don't get to see too often with 1v3s like that. But, yeah, I think it's now something where Wisconsin just need to keep prying into aim more than anything, because tapping does seem like a bit of a death sentence if they're not careful. And, no, there's not too many of them, but if they get pushed to tiebreaker, it won't look the greatest, even though it's not hard tapping. Still a decent bit in there, but looking at the next pick, it seems Wisconsin are actually going to be opting in for the free mod 1.
Over the overall lineup here on this free mod 1, and for those of you looking at the overlay right now, these are inverted, so this is a Wisconsin pick, contrary to what it says. This is sort of an alt-favored aim map in here. There is really no anti-mod to be found. Hard Rock I would pin as being the more difficult mod overall, just given the snappy aim requirement of this with the cross-screen style jumps. This is absolutely single tappable if you have the stamina for it. There's nothing too crazy about the BPM to be found on this free mod 1. It's 212. If anything, it's actually pretty slow for those players that are going to be alting their way through this. Not a bad shout for Wisconsin if they believe that they have a top-level player for either of the more difficult of the mods for them here. This is definitely a shout, especially if you also want to take somebody like Cord Blaby and try and stick them on the no mod for a confident combo. That's always something we look for on these free mods as well. Plenty of opportunities, but this is, I think, sort of that turning point for Wisconsin here where they really do need to get a point on the board. For Ohio's sake here, this would be a 3-0 if they take another break point here. And that's a true 3-0, Torva. That is 2 break points on that 3-0, so there is no skimping around on that. That would be a dominant lead, especially in this early matchup on a best of 9 still here, first to 5.
Yeah, I mean, getting to 3-0 in a position like this would put you in such a comfortable position. Granted, of course, it wouldn't put you in a guaranteed win. You know, anything can happen. It's tournament moments. But, yeah, I mean, Ohio getting to 3-0 would be really, really nice for them. But, again, no, this is one of those maps that I would say is a bit more favored to Wisconsin, right? I mean, Ohio have players who are capable of playing this, even with Hard Rock, even with Hidden or no mod. But, you know, it's a bit more aim-focused, does have a small bit of that all here, and the map has, like, the shortest 210 BPM streams or bursts that are slightly vertical, but should not cause problems whatsoever for the Wisconsin team. It's just going to be looking at that consistency overall. And, of course, you know, the comfort with the mod combinations. And this could come down in worst case scenario to the no mod battle, but I feel like this shouldn't be too bad for these players. But seeing the good luck players are ready. And I'm just intrigued to see who's running a what mod, to be honest. Because as you mentioned, right, Board Blabby, maybe the one being a no mod player here. For the side of Ohio, I feel like I expect to see Seth on the Hard Rock, because I feel like I remember that. Oh, actually, it's the other way
full
around.
Mods.
Oh. Okay, interesting play for Wisconsin here. A bit of an overmod. Looking to try and get that, squeeze out that score multiplier. Maybe looking confident on this then.
Yeah, this is interesting on this one. And, you know, this match can only end in an unfortunate outcome, to be perfectly honest. If Ohio ends up taking the loss in this match right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. That would put them back into an early elimination after getting the chance to put a team together again for this year. Wisconsin made a couple of big roster changes this year in order to put this lineup together. By the way, they did lose Hotbread, Nitrine, and Greeny, who were 3 very, very influential players for this Wisconsin roster. And they had a decent run last year that looked like they could push it forward this year. And it would be very, very disappointing for them to get knocked out in this weekend here in the losers bracket. That would put them at the exact same finish as 2025 in that 25th to 32nd lineup here. So This is definitely not the scenario that you want to see for them going throughout. So for both sides here, this is going to be an unfortunate outcome, whoever loses this one out. Right now, seems like Wisconsin's going to be the one down below. It's 2 full combos on both sides and 1 break on that middle center position for the Hard Rock. Next miss here is going to throw away quite a bit of score, and this is a decently long map for us here, too. 3 minutes and 54 seconds.
Yeah, and speaking of those next misses, we actually do see quite a few misses come out of Uber Russia. I think 3 misses in that last 2 sentences. And Tigo is actually walking away with it a bit now, getting to nearly 400 combo mark. It's 35k score difference. Not necessarily the halfway point yet, so it's nothing to be worried about for the side of Ohio, but they are going to start finding those recoveries, and they are going to need to keep those full combos on the board if they can. And it is going to be Sith and Cheeseball, the no more player. Oh, that's not what we look good. That's not looking good.
I
no.
think that's just a guaranteed loss unless Ohio double FCs and Wisconsin breaks both combos. Holy shit, they just did.
Okay.
This is now interesting. Is Ohio going to 2v3 Wisconsin right now?
Yeah, this could be case. Yeah. I mean, it's on the board. It's a possibility. It's halfway through the map. It's 100k score difference to close down, and there's no crazy combos inside of Wisconsin. If there's more misses to be found from them, that score difference might just disappear.
Oh, and we are also able to take the last known score from Rice Shower. So if Sith puts up a good enough score right now, we do get a chance to add in that combo from Rice Shower. The problem is there's no gain there. And as this map progresses, given that we're only halfway through, that's just going to become more and more difficult. The good news for Ohio right now is Sith is single-handedly stopping every single bit of score gain from Wisconsin right now. Good news for Wisconsin, however, is that Board Blaby is holding up a 500 combo, and that is going to really start and pull through for them right now. And unfortunately, even if there's not going to be a result from Rice Shower, we're going to have to take the one from the live stream, and I don't know what that last second screenshot was, unless they can somehow put up a screenshot if their game didn't crash. It did say that they left, so there is a chance that it wasn't an internet disconnect and that it was a game crash, too. That should be an interesting one to see what we've got.
Yeah, and I mean, both players in Ohio finding the breaks, not being able to bring out those full combos, so that score difference is just going to continue bleeding more in favor of Wisconsin, especially with the combo that Blaby's putting on now. 700 combo, a chain miss from Tigo, but it is going to be traded out from Cheeseball. It's not looking good for the side of Ohio with that disconnect. It's looking like they were a chance to, having that 3-0, but yeah, as this map continues, as it continues going forward, that score difference is going to keep growing further and further, and I'll be honest, from the last screenshot that we possibly have from Umara Shower, I don't think it was a 400k. So no. Unless they full comboed and have the screenshot to prove it, it ain't looking too good.
Yeah, and I have seen someone mention that it was a game crash, so unfortunately I don't think we have an end of map score for them either. So, you know what? With all credit due to Wisconsin, we've spent a lot of time talking about Ohio and this, and unfortunately, it's sort of taken away from the performance of Wisconsin. They had an amazing run on that map. Board Blaby, a 700,000 score with a singular miss, 99.43 on the hidden, double 96 mid there for them, and Audubon on the 500,000 score on the Hard Rock to boot. For Wisconsin, I would say that they would have won that map regardless. I think that's finally the pick that Wisconsin was looking for, and they have, in fact, prevented a double breakpoint scenario from them. It is a crash confirmed by the Ohio roster, and that is going to be a confirmed point for Wisconsin. We don't even need to wait for host review on that one or ref. That is just a solid scenario there. And that gives Wisconsin the chance to maybe start to drag themselves back into this match. Now, they do have to go through an Ohio pick in order to pull back that break point, but there really isn't any purpose in going through the VOD. There was not 400,000 score. I believe they disconnected somewhere between the 200,000 score range, so there just simply is not enough for Ohio here. And now their chance to try and keep this match rolling through, it's going to be their next pick. Wisconsin has to try and put a stop to it, because regardless of what happens on their own picks here, they do still need to claw something back.
Yeah, I mean, do still have that 1-point lead, but, that 1-point lead can disappear quite quickly, especially with Wisconsin now starting to step up a small bit, especially on that 3-mod-1, looking a lot more comfortable, looking like they're playing a bit stronger now. I mean, Ohio have to pick relatively carefully here. I mean, I'm looking mostly at the No-Mod 2, a team that is strong mechanics, so going to No-Mod 2, it's not, crazy high BPM like the DT2 was, where it's 260-ish. normal 2 seasons is going to be like 190, but, they do have that consistency on those kind of maps. Could be a good help for them. Or they could try and throw a curveball and go a completely different route, but it's got to be something they're comfortable with, and they can't risk having a breakpoint here if they want to keep that lead. But, with just double-check confirmation that we could already take a guesstimate, the score did not exceed 500,000 from Umarash, so it's guaranteed Wisconsin's point, and with the way they performed, honestly, I kind of hoped it would stay in their favor, because they did play that absolutely amazingly, especially with that almost, 500, 600k from the Hard Rock, and then the 600k on the Hidden.
Yeah, and it looks like the last recorded score from our broadcast was 132,000 scored because of that break, and that is just simply not enough. And I think that was just the case as well. They disconnected right around that halfway point. Even with a full combo, there was no way to make up that 500,000 score difference there. And with the breaks on the Hard Rock, you do again have to wonder, would they have even taken it in the first place? And, to give the credit to Wisconsin, like we said, I do think that would just have been a Wisconsin point regardless of the disconnect there. So I think Ohio can maybe take a little bit of comfort in that. It's very unfortunate whenever you have a crash in a scenario like that. That's just unpreventable. You never want to see it. But, if you were going to lose the map anyway and Wisconsin finally found their own pick on the board here, you can really only be happy for them starting to maybe find some groove here. However, that momentum might be cut pretty short here on this No Mod 3. This was one of those maps that I sort of picked out for Ohio really early. It's a little bit more awkward. It's rhythm control focused. It's got some speed up sections here, and it just really is going to be uncomfortable for almost everyone in this lobby unless you have a very strong player for this sort of hybrid mechanics gimmick style pick in here. There is a lot of work to be done from both sides in order to try and pull this one through.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real way for me to describe this map other than extremely funky, and just pray you have comfort around that 230 range, because I think this map does average at 230 BPM with some, a lot of those heavy bursts, and as mentioned, right, just the weirdness to it, speed ups here and there. It'll be interesting to see, if there is a standout player on either side for a map like this, because you kind of might hope for it. Having a hard carry on a map like this would benefit a lot, because I can't imagine this being a case of three-way, consistency check with everyone being...
Oh, hell no.
It's not one of those maps. It's not one of those maps.
No.
You will have one good player and then two okay supporting scores. And if you have more than that, it's guaranteed win. Yeah.
Yeah, this map
if you have
awkward.
2 carries... Oh.
I will, at the risk of my match being played later today, but this was by far my, lowest score when playing this pool first time through. I played this map once and I went, oh, hell no. And it was just... Oh my god, this map is so tough. It really is. You need a player who is very proficient in this sort of finger control rhythm change style of map in order to have a really confident score on this, because the accuracy, of course, is a component as well. And even on an early stage, this just is so difficult, and you can already see some of those rhythm changes at the start catching out at the beginning here. The combos do maintain on everyone else, but a lot of room left to go in this map, and it does only speed up into the finish, and you can see these rhythm changes, these quick switch sliders here. You're going to see some 1/3 overlap here too as well, and it's going to be Cheeseball to find the break on it. Wisconsin, meanwhile, looks like they found their practice on this pick, a quarter of the way in, 100,000 score lead, and the combos maintained through part of the speed up section. How many can they hold is the question.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking to hold that combo as long as possible right now. It's 200k score difference. Do you see Thieving Fleet find that break? But it's nothing to be scared about. You see, all players on Wisconsin do find that break now. But yeah, Sith find that recovery after the beginning. But no, the accuracy not doing too great, but does actually out-act all the players inside of Wisconsin. But it's 130k to climb up, and the break on in one of the slowest sections is going to claim Sith. But no, if a Mirage can start to build the combo here, they can maybe start to claw it back a bit quicker due to that accuracy difference. But also just looking to hopefully get that team combo, because that's what Wisconsin had, and that's what they might be doing again, is there are 2 players over 200 combo. Unfortunately, you do see Fleet and Potential finding those breaks and board Blabby, but getting towards, the ending of the map, and it's looking pretty comfortably in favor for Wisconsin right now of 160k.
Yeah, those early combos really putting the work in for Wisconsin. There has just been no opportunity for Ohio to come back, especially with the ending of this map being so much more difficult than that intro section. You really need that beginning combo. And you know, unless you have that carry level player that's going to come through and full combo a map like this, despite how difficult it is, there really is, unfortunately, just very, very slim margins when you get into that ending section there. You know, even the scores between Carolina and Georgia, two very, very well off teams on this, the highest score in the lobby was an 800K. And that was from, I believe, Rhythmic RS themselves. So that is quite literally like a high 2-digit, low 3-digit, top level combo on this map. So very difficult. Wisconsin should be pretty happy about this 300K across the board here. That's a very strong team score, especially from sort of that mid-range around the board here. And that is a tie game now. Wisconsin on their own pick. They have a chance to bring this match to a lead in favor of themselves. And that is not something that you would have expected looking at these first two maps from Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, the first two maps, Wisconsin looking a bit too unfortunate, a bit too out of play at that moment, and Ohio were looking really strong. But then, you know, it took them that 3-mod-1. They got their momentum, and then they just started to carry it through that no-mod-3. You know, a map that on paper should have gone to Ohio, a team that is a lot more comfortable mechanically, even with the difficulty of that map. But Wisconsin just were able to hold those combos as a team and hold the accuracies as a team. That's all they needed. And now they go for the next point. And I honestly would argue Wisconsin have a lot more maps open to them than Ohio do, because the two raw tapping maps are kind of gone now. And I mean, there's not much else for Ohio to go into, but with it being Wisconsin's pick, they have quite a few open opportunities, I would argue.
Yeah, this is definitely, with so many maps left in this pool, and, you know, having to tie that match up this early was big for Wisconsin. Being able to get that comeback as early as you possibly can and really get that momentum shift in, especially when you're the higher seeded team in a match, you know, that motivation comes back very quickly. And now that they've got the chance to sort of go back into another area of the pool that they think that they're favored on here, this is the pivot point for them in order to really pull up some advantage. And there it is, the No Mod 5. So it's Foolish Hero. So this is what we would consider the tech pick in the No Mod pool, just by virtue of being the techiest map in it, but there's not a whole lot of rote tech elements in here. This is still a pretty easy map pool, given the fact that we're in the round of 16. And I would definitely say, you know, given this old Kasu style of mapping here, this ends up being more of a flow aim favored pick than just a raw tech map in here. And I think for Wisconsin, that's actually what they're looking for. I think that because of how this is put together, it's definitely leaning towards what we would consider that neck tech side of things. And that really is a specialty for Wisconsin over Ohio, especially given that No Mod 3 really finding breaks on some of those more finger control oriented parts and those wide spacing sections. Wisconsin had that consistency a little bit higher.
Yeah, and then going into a map like this immediately after, you know, does dial down the difficulty by a small bit, and is just going to be testing, as you mentioned, right, that flow aim, which Wisconsin are proving that they're going to be a bit more comfortable on, but, you know, Ohio can't be put out of the running yet. It's still only 2-2, and you know, they might find themselves getting that, you know, that second wind to get themselves back into a momentum shift, but that is all dependent on how comfortable they are on this No Mod 5, and it's nothing too crazy, I would argue, but it's also not like it's the freest map in the game. You're not going to get, you know, a free pass and just combo everything, unless this is something you're comfortable with. You can deal with a few sliders here and there, and you can deal with some funky flow every now and then. But this will be that test for these players. Good luck to the players already. Should be going into it relatively soon. And this is for Wisconsin to try and take the lead for the first time in this match, rather than just being equalized with Ohio.
This should be a big point in the match here. I normally wouldn't consider it as such, but given, you know, the back and forth between these two teams and how these picks have looked thus far, this could really be a major spot for both teams here. Ohio on a break point has the chance to consolidate and force a match point. Wisconsin taking this will basically complete their comeback run here, their momentum shift all the way up, and for the first time in this match have them up on points. So this means a hell of a lot more for these two teams than it would in many other scenarios here. Being 2-2, you don't normally consider that a turning point in the match. This is going to be the one here, still in the early sections of the map, not really hitting the difficult bit here. And there really is only about 3/4 of the map that you have to make it through in order to have a really good chance. There is a big aim section in order to gain combo towards that 3/4 marker, and then there's a very small flow aim section afterwards. Potential gonna find a drop on that Buzz Slider, but 2 players on Ohio do too. It's Hydra and Sith to find the drops, and it's 1 more extra slider for Sith as well. Those Buzz Sliders are absolutely brutal, to be fair. You have to hit the timing on it absolutely perfectly. Good news for these players, there's really only one of them. The rest of it's flow aim. And here we go into that first key eye. Let's see if we hit these overlaps and these snaps. There are a few cuts in here, plenty of opportunity to over aim, over tap, get that note lock out here with these doubles, and it's going to be Board Blaby to find that first major break, but it's double Ohio.
Yeah, and Cheeseball is the only player on the side of Ohio now to keep that combo going compared to the fact you see Tigo and Potential now starting to pull those combos. But Tigo goes down, but Cheeseball trades out. It's 115k score advantage on the side of Wisconsin, and Potential with that recovery, 500 combo. But does find that break as we're getting closer towards that first half of that being done. There's no real combos on the board anymore. Cheeseball is the leader on it, but it's not that much of a combo to make a sizable difference right now. That score difference only chunking down by the smallest bit, but as we get to these more dense stream parts, do you see it actually starting to climb now a small bit, moving a bit more in favor of Ohio, seeing the accuracies across the board with Cheeseball actually having a high stack of 99.56. Very comfortable on this kind of map. Did find that small slip up though, which did break that combo earlier in, and now Sith is starting to try and build those combos. Hydra did find that small break a moment ago, but does need to now find that combo to try and equalize out this map, as all of Wisconsin seems to be building now.
Hydra with the slider break on the slow slider. And this map is not hard to act either. So having low accuracy on this map is always as a result of misses, in my opinion. You're going to find fewer 100s than you are breaks on patterns here. And Ohio really needs to just sit back and take a breath into this next section here. We've got 1 more section with the jumps now. This is the easier section of the map towards, again, I mentioned sort of that 2/3 to 3/4 way mark here. There is going to be 1 more flow aim section at the ending, and Potential finding a break there does give some concession over to Ohio, but Hydra continues to trade out these misses. But it does mean that there is a combo advantage in favor of Ohio on Cheeseball and Sith, so a singular break on Wisconsin could let this one roll away. The cuts come through, but we don't see any misses except for Hydra. That gives another 10k away to Wisconsin. Yet again, Potential to put up some combo here. Need to make sure they don't find any more over aims on these space stream patterns. And there goes Cheeseball, and Wisconsin looks to be nearing ever closer to that comeback point. 1 more snap stream here into the ending for this space pattern here, and I'd say that's virtually over 200k. It's Sith with the combo, but Tigo and Blaby to hold down, and Potential with the great support. And Wisconsin now online. They have entered the server. The 18th seed has come alive, and Ohio now fighting for their lives in this match on their own pick. This is their final opportunity to prevent that match point coming up here.
Yeah. Saying Wisconsin came online and feels like a bit of an understatement. They've just suddenly showed up again, right? I can't get over it. They showed quite a decent bit of weakness at the start, but it took them finding that 1 bit on the board to get themselves into the game, and they have just really not disappeared since coming towards the end of the map, seeing those 2 1,000 combos. Tigo does find a break in the ending, but it doesn't matter. It's only 360k score difference. It's pretty light work apparently for them, and Blaby coming out with the combo towards the ending does get them that 3rd point on the board. Even with the attempted combos from both Cheeseball and Sith, unfortunately, it just isn't enough to make up for that overall team difference. And of course, the 2 1k combos would have needed a lot more work to come out from them. But just overall, very, very well played from the side of Wisconsin there. And does go back to Ohio's pick. They need to pick carefully here. They need to pick smartly. They can't risk flowing too much anymore because, that No Mod 2 will not be in their favor after what we've just seen on this No Mod 5. But maybe something secret up the sleeve where they are comfortable on a bit of a higher BPM rather than 170. But overall, that map pool is dwindling for Ohio specifically, where there's not that many raw tapping maps remaining, if there is even any.
Yeah, this is going to be a close one, and I think it needs to be something a little bit more awkward for Wisconsin that they're strong on. I think they've really looked good on some of these snappier patterns in here that really have caught Ohio off guard. Even though Seasons is flow aim favored, and I think Wisconsin has looked very good, it is a very basic map, and it is a consistency test. And, given the early stages of this match, especially with maps like that DT2 being the more stream-focused pick, same thing with Hard Rock 2, it was flow aim streams for the majority of it, even if it was precision. And it was a confident Ohio victory on both of those, so there really isn't going to be a whole lot of room for Wisconsin on that no mod 2. They could certainly try and go for it, but it definitely might be a bit more of a dangerous spot here. I do wonder if either of these teams go for the free mod 2 at any point in this match, given that anti-mod slot. That might be a good place for Wisconsin to look, especially if they think they have the advantage overall on the mod combinations. They look pretty good on that free mod 1, and I think if they have the advantage overall there, and it is going to be Ohio going for the no mod 2, so likely they did recognize that weakness that I pointed out on that DT2 and Hard Rock 2. I think this is a good spot for them to really try and pull it back to that range of skill set. And Wisconsin now going to have to fight through yet another flow-in pick that maybe could change outcome now that they've had a bit of a shift in momentum here.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking to just have that flow-in consistency. They need to bring that to the board, and they need to bring that confidence to the board because, I mean, especially with the last night, we did see quite a bit of shaking from Hydra, maybe a bit of nerves or just maybe not feeling right on the day, but this time around, they can't have those small mistakes. They need to build that consistency, and you see it immediately with the roster they're bringing in over at Cheeseball, Sith, and Uma Rashad, just bringing in the players I think they're most confident in right now for a map like this. I mean, it's just in about 5 minutes, 190, 3 BPM streams with a few bits of aim here and there, but the aim isn't too crazy from what I remember. But again, as mentioned, right, it's just more of that flowing check, and for as much as Wisconsin have started to step it up, especially as you consider that no mod 5, overall, when it comes to those flowing picks, as you had already mentioned, right, Ohio were considerably stronger. They just need to find that momentum and that confidence, and they should be more than okay on a map like this. But see them good luck, have fun, the players are ready. Let's see if Ohio can start to try and break the momentum Wisconsin started building, as they've got 3 points in a row.
It's going to be a big one right here.
The important map. This can change the tides very quickly. You're going to put Wisconsin towards that match point and guarantee tiebreaker in worst case scenario, or put it back to another equalized matchup between these two teams.
Well, final opportunity on their own pick for Ohio to try and keep this match even. If they don't get this one, they're going to have to make it work on Wisconsin's pick. And based on what we've been seeing for the past 3 maps, that is starting to become an increasingly difficult task for them as Wisconsin looks to try and push this to the match point. A long map here, of course, in seasons. This is about as consistency as you can get. 4 minutes and 57 seconds, and I am going to be so real for the players that are missing right now. This is not the section that we can be finding breaks in, guys. This is not the part of the map that we can be seeing misses on. Luckily for both sides, it has been traded out by either team. Ket off with 1 less miss than the side of Cheeseball. Their accuracy up at the top a little bit higher for Wisconsin. It is a break on the first stream switch for Tigo, though. That's going to be a bit more of an influential break, and scores on this map are usually expected to be pretty high until you get to that classic Dragon Force Ki, but there's yet another under-aim for Tigo for Wisconsin. Ohio, once again, they found that niche in the streams, and they've come back to it, and they are already looking stronger. Wisconsin really needs a player to come up big on this map in order for this to go their way. It's already looking dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, they have the security and Blabby right now holding on to that longer combo, and it cuts off with the recovery, but you know, that recovery is, you know, gonna, you know, edge out Cheeseball by a smallest bit, but that doesn't matter when you still see those 2 full combos instead of Ohio, you know, as mentioned, looking so much more comfortable on this now. Score lead, you know, subtly shifting more and more in favor of Ohio by each note, going over 35k now, but not to be worried too much yet. But we do see, some pretty bad breaks coming in from Uma Rashad. Just find 2 breaks, 1 on the stream, 1 immediately after, and that score difference is now going to start declining by a decent margin. They have Sif still on the full combo, about 800 combo, but Ketov recovered to 700, and Blabby also
tell me it doesn't happen again. Tell me it didn't happen again. Please no. Please no. Please just tell me this is Bancho doing Bancho things, and oh my god, no. Oh my god.
I don't think Raishal is allowed to miss.
No!
I don't think
Come on.
Uma's not allowed to miss. If Uma misses, the game crashes.
But
oh no.
Are you kidding me?
The only hope here is all of Wisconsin fall apart now, and there's no breaks inside of Ohio. I mean, we get to the halfway point of the map. Blabby has to find the miss and Ketov, and then maybe the hope opens. It's still 200k score difference, and I believe Marshall was at 180k, so realistically only 20k, but the double break from Ohio is going to start to shut that down, especially with Blabby still on the full combo. 1100 combo now crossed, and Ketov crossing the 1000 combo barrier. Yeah, this is not looking too ideal for Ohio. This is not looking good at all.
And it is once again a double break from Ohio with a double 1000 combo from Wisconsin. Tigo to pull up the supporting score. And I mean, you know, if this Umar Shower did find a break too, so this is 400,000 in favor of Wisconsin right now. Assuming Umar Shower broke alongside everyone else, we'll put them at what, 250k with Tigo and Cheeseball roughly. That still leaves 200k in favor of Wisconsin. So again, it was a break from Umar Shower, but I do think this is just another case of Wisconsin finding their stride in this match. It is Ketov to find a pretty big miss on one of those 1000 combos right before the big stream key eye here, but it's Board Blabey to hold it down. And this is really the big section of the map right now. It is a trade all the way through. It's Tigo versus Cheeseball right now. And whoever comes out on top of this is just going to secure that final point here. I don't think there's anything Ohio can do. And this key eye being pretty short final stream right here. Anything else? It's Tigo to miss Cheeseball the hold. They're going to be able to pull back some score. But there is just nothing Ohio can do. I would imagine that this is yet another crash.
Yeah, this is just so unfortunate for the side of Ohio. Having 2 crashes, but I mean, Cheeseball does find a miss there. I think this map, even with Umar having been, you know, even if they didn't crash, I think with the misses that was found just beforehand, I think it does mean that Wisconsin may have won this map anyway. And it's another unfortunate scenario where, you know, you see the crash happen, but Wisconsin, I think, may have just won on the board anyway due to it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of those scenarios where, like, you know, you almost have to look up on the bright side. Like, Ohio is putting in a valiant effort. They had a great intro to this match. At the end of the day, Wisconsin, to their credit, is the higher-seeded team in this matchup. They have performed exceptionally well on the past 3 picks, now gaining on 4. And this is a 700,000 score lead for Wisconsin. So we're really just saying it to feel better for Ohio here on the fact that I think Wisconsin would have won anyway, but that unfortunately just doesn't change the fact that this is a position that sucks to be in if you are Ohio. It always feels better to know that you lost because of your own gameplay rather than something out of your control. And unfortunately for our number 31 seed here today, that is going to be a match point for Wisconsin on that disconnect and another game crash. And that leaves it back to Wisconsin's final pick now. Ohio, 2 opportunities here in order to try and make something happen. But again, that is a 700,000+ score lead for Wisconsin. And based on the breaks from Umar Shower, there is just no possible way that that score lead could have come back. Their maximum score was in the 600,000s. And this is going to be the match point that Ohio was hoping would not come so soon.
Yeah, an exact case scenario they were hoping to avoid with those earlier picks, but you know, with the momentum Wisconsin started to build, it's looking a bit more bleak for the side of Ohio. And as Bright mentioned, right, even if the rush hour hadn't crashed, like, you can always have the what ifs, but I don't think that what if would have happened in many different timelines. It's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Wisconsin did win out that No More 2 pretty convincingly. And with it being match point, as mentioned, right, it's Wisconsin's pick as well. They have a chance to close this match out here and now if they really want to throw a curveball with a map they'll be comfortable with, but you know, with it dwindling a small bit, you know, their go-to maps will be gone, but nothing that they can't play.
There is a world where Ohio does do this, but it does require a breakpoint to come out first. And it does look like we are getting the DT1. It's let me know. So we are going to go into the consistency aim. This is by far, and I mean by far, capital F, the easiest map in this pool. By leagues and miles and kilometers at this point. This is such the easiest map in this pool right now. Wisconsin's consistency is going to be the backer of this map right now because of how simplistic this DT1 is. The round of 32 DT1 was also likewise that consistency style in here. And the way that Ohio was playing at the start of the match, it looked good for them, but the aim we mentioned was favored for Wisconsin. And this is going to be the trump card they're hoping in order to put Ohio out of this.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one of those maps where it generally could just boil down to a difference of 1 or 2 misses, and those 1 or 2 misses could just be, you know, the fall apart for either side. This is, you know, the full test of, can Ohio keep their nerve? Can they keep that consistency? And are they in the right mental to be like, yeah, even though we've had so many unfortunate circumstances with, you know, crashes and just missed picks here and there, or not even missed picks, but just unfortunate moments on your stronger picks, can they keep that mental and just go, yeah, it doesn't matter, it's fine. We can just play this DT1 and we just FC anyway. That's what the goal is. We're seeing Umarash come back in. For your sake, I hope you don't find a miss, because that's been what we've seen so far, with every miss being the crash of causes.
Well, Umarai's shower has had a little bit of unluckiness here in this matchup, to put it that way. We are hoping for Ohio's sake that puts a hold on it for this map here. Updated drivers. Hopefully, maybe that's what was causing it. I've never seen drivers cause the client to crash before, but let's hope that it does something if that was the case. This is the final opportunity now for Ohio, looking for redemption for, at the very least at this point, one map that was an unfortunate loss. Wisconsin with 4 maps in a row, looking for 5 to complete the sweep. Comeback for them would be an absolutely amazing scenario, and it would put them up in that 17th to 24th position to match their placement from last year. And again, this is that unfortunate scenario. It had to happen to one of these teams. Ohio, they did so well for themselves to pull back a roster for this year, and it would be absolutely gutting to go out in that first round here, 24th to 32nd overall in that first round here. Still plenty of map left to go here, and there's a lot of room for breaks, but it is just that consistency. There's not a lot of big aim. There's not a lot of jump scares here. And if the consistency is out at the beginning, you're hard-pressed to lose it at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we have the good news of, you know, Umarash had to find that early miss and hasn't crashed. They are in the game, and we actually do see a pretty sizable break coming in from Thief and Fleet and Tigo, both of them finding those breaks. And Antibon is holding the combo, but there are recoveries on the side of Ohio, getting towards that halfway point in the map, but the score advantage has flipped over, and they're looking a bit better now. Not having to be too worried about the crashes, seeming a bit more comfortable. Oh, Cheeseball does find a break. Do you see this?
But Audubon?
Oh, trade it out. It might still be a safe zone for Ohio.
Oh, it's Ohio time. It's a tip miss, but it's Umarai's shower. Maybe making up some concessions for having the double disconnect on their team. They said, you know what, guys, I've got this. It's 200,000 score in favor of them. A third of the map left to go, and easiest map in the pool be damned. Wisconsin, their consistency and nerves have gotten the better of them, as Ray Shower, seemingly the only one in this lobby that finds the map quite easy. 650 combo, 2 to 4 scoreline, looking for 3 to 4, and Ohio says, we are not done yet. We are going to take yet another map. They're going to look for one more after this, and it's going to be a tiebreaker on the horizon for Ohio and 250k. I think that this is just impossible at this point for Wisconsin. It would require a triple reset from Ohio, and even then they're running out of time. I think Ohio's done it, looking for their last pick.
Yeah, they're getting that point on the board. I mean, I think it is safe to say that Umarash has made up for the unfortunate circumstances by absolutely clutching this map out into their favor with a just pretty dominant score as well. About 300k advantage over 2 separate players on the side of Wisconsin. Tigo and Antibon bringing in the 700ks, but, you know, with the reverse stroke from Umarash and not crashing, they absolutely brought themselves back without any problems whatsoever. And of course, the supporting scores to be found from Sith especially, and of course, Cheeseball gets from that point on the board, and that 4-map win streak has now been broken for Ohio, and they're now getting 3 to 4, with it being their pick. They need to get something good here. They need to play it carefully, but they need to pick smart. And, I mean, I was saying most of this match, right, I feel like the aim-focused maps would be favored for Wisconsin. But I would make the argument that was pretty aim-heavy, and Ohio has just taken that breakpoint for their favor.
Yeah, I think it was the weakness of Wisconsin on double time outweighing their strengths on the aim, because you could see some of those snaps between the triples and the jumps on the back, just catching them off guard. And even though this map, again, on the lighter side for a DT1, it is still AR 10.2. So regardless of whether or not you're good at aim, you are still looking for a bit of that reading aspect, being pretty close to 10.3 already. So Wisconsin maybe just finding a little too much struggle on that part of the map, and Ohio was able to capitalize on it, having the most confident higher AR player in the lobby. Now they're unfortunately, however, looking for their last pick on a pretty unknown skill set. They go anti-mod, they go awkward DT3, they go alt nomad 4, nomad 1 pure aim again, and I doubt they're going into the reading or gimmick of hidden 1 or hidden 2. And it is going to be the free mod 2, so they are opting for the anti-mod slot as their opportunity for this, which is basically just a nomad 1 but low AR and higher CS.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be one of those ones where, you know, they look to their victory on the Hard Rock 2 and think to themselves, okay, we'll go free mod 2. It's the closest thing we'll have to going back to it. And I'm going to presume that they might, if they're going to overmod, they're going to bring 2 Hard Rocks to the table, or they're just going to go with the hidden Hard Rock no mod, which we saw with the free mod 1. Wisconsin, however, I mean, they overmodded last time. It did actually pay off for them quite well. Maybe opting into it again, but, you know, do they want to play into that risk when they could have a chance of just closing out this match here and now? That's the question I think should be proposed for them. But with the map, I mean, anti-mod, it's just awkward, as mentioned already, kind of similar to a lot of that aim and some bursts here and there, but quite low BPM if I'm not mistaken. Issues are, I mean, the map will dwindle down. They don't have many picks left. I mean, it is literally the last pick of the match, but no, they don't have many things Ohio is going to be extremely comfortable on, so I think this honestly is kind of their safest bet to go into.
Yeah, I mean, that Nomad 1 is high intensity. It has a really chokeable, longer stream in the middle of the map. I think that Nomad 4 being the alt pick in the pool with Open the Worlds was a bit unknown territory for them. We haven't really seen alt on either side. And if your team isn't particularly confident on it, I wouldn't pick it this late into the match. I think it was a foregone conclusion that we weren't going to see hiddens in this pool at all. I just don't think either of these two teams has a player that could stack up on either Hidden 1 or Hidden 2. Hidden 2 is a reading map, and Hidden 1 is actually fairly dense and awkward even by Hidden 1 standards. And when you look at that on the other end, I mean, that basically just leaves you with that DT or free mod as the option. And Ohio just said, you know what? We're going to be better at these consistency style maps in the free mod over that awkward DT pick, even if we've taken the other two already. And Wisconsin now going to have to fight through this. The same mod combination we saw earlier. The only difference on the top is going to be Thieving Fleet in for that hidden. Again, this is a Art 8. So we're really looking out for Thieving Flea and Sith on that reading right here. I'm not as concerned about the Hard Rock players on this map. I do think HR is the easier of the mod combinations here, especially if your team doesn't have a reading player.
Yeah, and already been proven before with Ohio being relatively comfortable on the precision-focused maps. You know, they were looking quite strong here, but we do actually see 5 breaks across the board. All the players on Ohio finding promo breaks, and the only player actually standing being Thieving Fleet for Wisconsin, but does find a bit of break there with the hidden. Unfortunately, I think just a bit of the density catching them off guard, and it's going to be keeping that 9k score advantage towards the side of Ohio, but it is going to slowly decline due to the 2 combos from Wisconsin with Tigo and Antibun holding on pretty comfortably here, but just looking for those recoveries from the other Hard Rocks on Ohio. Accuracy game right now, relatively balanced, I would say, actually slightly in favor of Ohio due to the hidden player.
It is, and honestly, on a lot of the maps in this match, even that Wisconsin has won, Ohio has had the accuracy advantage here. Very strong. However, those cut streams continue to catch both teams off guard. Thieving Flea with the hidden, actually the only one able to navigate those appropriately. And it's yet again another double reset for Ohio there. Wisconsin really not finding any breathing room here, however. They are trading these misses out all over the place. And this is just a cluster of misses on both sides here. It is Thieving Flea at 87% accuracy to find the break. And I think Ohio might almost have this halfway point in the match. It's another 6-way reset. Okay, so we saw a 6-way full combo on DT1 between Carolina and Georgia yesterday. We're just seeing 6-way full breaks between these two teams on this map up now. And this is a classic tournament map, too. I mean, this map is pushing probably 7 or 8 years old, I feel like, when it comes to being, you know, put in tournament play here. So there is certainly no shortage of knowledge on this pick here. It really is going to be about the consistency. And it's only 70k, Torva. I mean, this is possible, especially with that break from Ohio coming up from Sith.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the combos now being found from Wisconsin, especially from Tigo, crossing into that 250 combo round, but it is matched by Spectre, who does actually fall down, finds that break, but they are sitting with that 96% accuracy. They're looking comfortable on the score difference, and it's hovering at 50k. It's the last quarter of the map coming up, and there's now just 2 combos compared to 1. Ohio having 1 combo, and Umarai just about to cross to 300. Oh, Umarai goes down to Tigo, is it?
Full combo!
Oh, this actually might come down to the wire. I think there might be. Oh, but the accuracy, though, I don't know.
I don't think
think so.
Wait, he hits the cut. This might be enough. Tigo might have just won this map for Wisconsin. He slider breaks. No.
That might have been the disaster. I think it's safe to say. Oh, but it flips over last second as well. Breaks the son of Ohio. Oh,
Wisconsin wins it on a chain miss at the ending. The last final stream, and Ohio collapses, and Tigo does enough. It's the combo from the Hard Rock play at the bottom, and Wisconsin by 6,500 points avoids the tiebreaker and wins the match 5-3 after a stunning almost comeback from Ohio there. What a way to finish that match.
Yeah, that was a back and forth and a half. I mean, the 2 points starting out with Ohio, absolute confidence we found. 4 maps in a row from Wisconsin, and then the clutch from Ohio in return on DT1. And then coming down to 3 more 2, and it being literally the last 3 seconds of the map. It was so close, and that chain miss from the side of Ohio just causing it all to fall apart. That is so unfortunate for them, but it was so well played from Wisconsin. Overall, just having so many maps available to them helped out a lot, and going down that 3 more 2, just that combo coming in from Tigo doing so much work as well. Just phenomenal performance. It's sad to see Ohio go. You know, they didn't have that 2-year hiatus, but now, unfortunately, do fall out on that 24th to 32nd placement. But Wisconsin now getting to actually continue going forward, doing actually quite well, and had some pretty convincing maps in that setup.
That was such a stunning way to finish that match. And a very, very close matchup, especially for a 31 seed versus an 18th seed. Massive shout outs to Ohio. Their chance back in United States Cup this year, and they should be proud to have that finish. 3 points on the board against a team who holds up to the pressure as well as Wisconsin does this year. And those roster changes for Wisconsin do end up pulling through here, and they make it through yet another weekend as they now go into the losers round 2 to face off against Georgia, the 12th seeded team in the tournament, who went 3-5 versus Carolina. A very strong roster. They've got their work cut out for them in the quarterfinals weekend. But a valiant effort from Ohio. Unfortunately, that is the end of their time in United States Cup 2026. We wish to see them back again next year. It's always a pleasure to see more states coming out for USC, especially when Ohio was such a big part of this tournament for such a long time. It was great to see them come back this year, but commiserations, as Wisconsin will be the ones to advance. But we have a hell of a lot more matches for you all this weekend coming up. I believe starting now at 1 UTC is going to be the next block of matches coming through. This was sort of the first of like kind of a mega block coming through here. 1 UTC coming up after this is going to be Virginia versus Pennsylvania, Kentucky versus Connecticut, and New Mexico versus Maryland. 1:30 UTC, Nevada versus Oklahoma, followed by 2 UTC, Colorado, Oregon, Texas versus Massachusetts, and Illinois versus Kansas, followed by, get this, 3 UTC will be South California versus Tennessee, and 4 UTC, Territories versus Wisconsin, and Indiana versus Arizona. So we're not screwing around with the matchups that we have for you all tonight. That starts in approximately 2 hours from now, hour and 45 minutes. But I will thank Torva for joining me here for this late night match for him, as he now gets to go and watch England in the World Cup.
I mean, say that. I don't get to go sleep yet. We actually do have a match, I believe, in 45 minutes, no? The match at 12 UTC with North California and Florida happening as well. So I will not be going to sleep or watching anything just yet.
Big stuff to come this weekend. I've been told that I am getting canceled because I accidentally said the wrong matchup for Washington. It was Territories versus Washington at 4UTC on the A stream. That will happen there on the lower bracket, 29th versus 13th seed. But the rest of the matchup stands. Thank you, everyone, for watching us this evening. Feel free to take a break for the next couple of hours until we come back for our next block starting at 1 UTC. We have about 14 matchups for you all tonight. You don't want to miss it. Mix of winners and lower bracket. We will see you all then.